Yes, good afternoon, Madam Chairman and ladies and gentlemen. The Republic of Korea became the first Asian country to sign both a framework agreement and a free trade agreement with the EU, raising our relationship to a strategic partnership. And these two agreements will be the bedrock for the development of future-oriented and mutually beneficial relations. The EU-Korea summit, which took place in Brussels on the 8th of November, adopted a joint declaration commemorating 50 years of diplomatic relations and setting out a vision for future development. As demonstrated by the program of this two-day policy forum, Korea and the EU share a common interest in a wide range of areas, ranging from science and innovation to crisis management operations. And we should further strengthen our efforts in addressing key global challenges through practical cooperation on issues such as the peaceful use of nuclear energy, non-proliferation, cybersecurity and counter-piracy. Concerted efforts are also needed to further develop the creative economy and innovation through cooperation in research and higher education and collaboration between businesses. In fact, in less than a decade, cooperation on research and innovation between the EU and Korea has become more developed and is now moving to a strategic level of cooperation. I would also like to stress the potential of cooperating more on green and other future technologies to reach greater harmonization of standards in the future. We should now deepen and diversify our strategic partnership in all these areas of mutual interest at the bilateral, regional and global levels. 1st of July 2013 marked the second anniversary of the EU-Korea FTA, the most ambitious FTA that the EU has concluded so far. The EU is also the largest foreign investor in Korea, and the scope of our cooperation has continued to widen. EU exports of goods to Korea increased by 24%, or 7 billion, in the second year of the FTA being applied compared to the year before entry into force of the agreement. The growth of Korean exports had slowed somewhat due to external economic factors such as the recent global economic slowdown, global overproduction and overcapacity in certain areas such as chips, and the relocation of the production of some flagship Korean electronic products in Southeast Asia. I note, however, that this trend now has been inverted, and that according to recent figures, Korea reached an export high last month, 7.3% more than in the previous year, mainly due to a surge in exports to the EU and the US. I have no doubt that this situation will further stabilize in the long run, allowing the EU-Korea economic relations in general and trade in particular to expand to their full potential. The car sector is an example where trade has increased in both directions. Imports of cars from Korea have increased by 53%. A sharp increase in the first year of the FTA was followed by a stable second year. EU exports of cars to Korea increased by 40% compared to the year before the FTA. The trend in EU car exports to Korea is considerably more positive than to the rest of the world, with an increase where an increase of 24% was recorded. Our FTA gives an important signal that free trade deals are possible even during difficult economic times. It delivers on the G20 commitment to trade liberalization as a way of overcoming the crisis, and proves that trade policy can make a meaningful contribution to global recovery. We should now demonstrate our commitment to this FTA by ensuring that it is implemented fully. Now, there are still a few issues that remain to be resolved, in particular in the automotive sector and financial services. We need to create the right conditions for our exporters to reap the full benefits expected from the FTA. I would also like to stress the importance of amending the FTA slightly to make it more trade facilitative as regards transit of goods through regional hubs and some repair operations. Resolving these issues will benefit both EU and Korean exporters and consumers. Overall, we can say that the balance is very good for both sides and the prospects remain very positive for the future. In view of their gradual recovery of the EU and the world economy, I see equally positive developments also in the other areas of intensified cooperation set out in the recent summit. The EU and South Korea are two like-minded countries that share common values like democracy, human rights and freedom of expression. Therefore, it is only logical that we also find common ground in the other areas of shared interests. Your policy forum, so today's policy forum, is a concrete example of the kind of fruitful exchanges that we have with each other. These exchanges should broaden and intensify in the years to come as our relationship matures and develops to embrace ever-increasing number of issues. And I thank you for your attention. If you would have a couple of questions, I will try to respond to them.